So straight to that story, the former prosecutor and now DA MP Glynnis Breytenbach has reiterated that the case against former police crime intelligence head Richard Mdluli was at the heart of the reason for her suspension from the NPA.
So she was subsequently hit with criminal charges. Breytenbach was the sixth witness in the Mokgoro Enquiry underway in Centurion, south of Pretoria.
The NPA certainly didn't boxed by the Marquis of Queensberry's rules. So yes, that certainly informed my view that the process wasn't and wouldn't be fair. It is one of the reasons why I appointed a legal team such as the one that I did, so that they would ensure that it was fair. Wim Trengove, in my view, is certainly one of the best advocates in the country. He is very, very competent, and he commands respect. And so I knew that between him and his junior was Nadine Fourie, and Mr. Wagenaar was my attorney. I knew that between the three of them, they would ensure that I got a fair trial. And I had no faith in the NPA giving me a fair trial without my legal team. I mean, the history of the matter speaks for itself. In the Celebi matter, both Mr. Jiba and Mr. Mkhwebi had been involved in what most prosecutors reviewed as questionable behavior. They were involved with Mr. Mdluli in that questionable behavior, and Mr. Mkhwebi, as I recall, testified against the state for Mr. Celebi in that matter. And Mr. Mdluli was the fellow who was making things happen. So they were already then involved with each other, and that formed some of the basis for my concern.
Now, in a nutshell here, these two advocates who are being investigated, who are in very senior positions in the prosecuting authority meant to deal with criminals, are being accused of protecting a criminal. Let's speak to Sipho Stuurman. He was there. Sipho, can we start firstly with Glynnis Breytenbach's claims against Mokgoro Jiba?
Well, a very good evening to you and our viewers at home. Glynnis Breytenbach came out guns blazing, as was expected, and particularly when it came to Jiba, who is the deputy head of the NPA. Glynnis Breytenbach described as having a lacked experience to lead as the deputy head of the NPA, also saying that Jiba lacked integrity and that she perhaps didn't have the required skills to have been promoted to the deputy head of the NPA, particularly in 2012, when Jiba had to step in after Menzi Silimane was removed following that constitutional court ruling against him. That is, Jiba then had to act as the head of the NPA. So Breytenbach felt that there were other more qualified and senior officials within the NPA that could have been appointed to act as the head of the NPA. Now, if I can bring you into context, of course, that is the disciplinary hearing that Breytenbach faced, the charges that she faced in the NPA, all of this happened while Jiba was at the top. So she believes that she was being prosecuted by the likes of Jiba and the likes of Mkhwebi for pushing on and insisting that Richard Mdluli should face, that Richard Mdluli being the former crime intelligence boss, that should face those corruption and fraud charges that were dropped by Mkhwebi. So she believes that there was certainly an agenda to drive her out, and that her insisting that Richard Mdluli had a case is what led to her problems within the NPA. And at that time, Jiba was the one that was acting NPA head. I mean, she used words like this, that, Jiba was a newbie who was suddenly parachuted or elevated to the top, that Jiba had not done anything exceptional that warranted her to be made a permanent deputy head and to be even made an acting NPA head. That is between the time that Silimane was removed, and then we had to then wait for the new appointment, which would have been Kolisi Ngasana. So certainly there's no love lost between the two. Jiba, that Breytenbach says she has no problems Jiba on a personal note, but on a professional level, she had a lot of problems in how she handled or ran the NPA, and certainly said that during Jiba's tenure, she allowed a lot of political interference within the NPA. So certainly very strong opinions coming from Breytenbach when it comes to Advocate Jiba.
All right, Sipho, the words nefarious intent were even used. Just tell us a bit more. She obviously speculated about why they were behaving the way they were.
Francis, I didn't quite catch you there, but another matter that is Breytenbach spoke about was Mkhwebi. Mkhwebi, of course, is the the special a prosecutor, public prosecutor within the NPA, and the interesting thing here is that Breytenbach was working under Mkhwebi when Mkhwebi was the head of a special commercial crimes unit. Now, what Breytenbach says that in a number of meetings with Mkhwebi, she felt that Mkhwebi was not competent enough to deal with complex commercial crimes matters, and that there had been other more competent and more senior prosecutors within NPA that it could have been made at the head of the SSIU. So certainly what her testimony spoke to, that to the direction that perhaps these two were promoted to protect a certain political interest. And the Mdluli case really, it seems to be, if I can call it, the Beyonce of the issues that they have with the NPA, because certainly all of the prosecutors that have come to testify at the Mokgoro Enquiry this week have pointed to this case of Mdluli corruption and fraud charges. They're saying that under the leadership of both Mkhwebi and that is Advocate Jiba, they let Richard Mdluli off the hook, and that they feel that those decisions were not correct in law, and that that's why these two now are facing these charges of mishandling high-profile cases.
All right, thank you very much, Sipho Stuurman, and he'll continue to follow the Mokgoro Enquiry, wrapping up the testimony of Glynnis Breytenbach today.